So right now, I would say we're about 90% of the time pumping and feeding, and then 10% of the time breastfeeding. That's because the twins were born a month early, and developmentally, when they were born, they were just not ready to breastfeed yet. So we worked with lactation consultants who recommended that we pump and feed until they hit their due date, and then they would be more ready to latch on and get a full feeding from the breast. We just recently, last week, passed their due date, so they would be over 40 weeks now, so they are getting better at the breast. We did a weighted feed with a lactation consultant, so they weighed them before I breastfed and then weighed them after I breastfed to see how much they were taking. For reference, each feed they're taking about 4 ounces each, which is 120 milliliters of my breast milk. When we did the weighted feed after I breastfed, Mabel had about 50 milliliters in 15 minutes, and Shepherd only had gotten 10. He still has a pretty immature suck. So I am still pumping about every 3 to 4 hours around the clock, and really 90% of their feeds and the majority of their volume is coming from the bottle. I do practice breastfeeding with them. They're getting better, but we're not at the point where they can just exclusively do a feeding straight from the breast. It just takes way too long, and they don't get the same volume as they do from the bottle. They're just not satisfied. One thing I feel very blessed about, though, is that my supply has been enough for both of them. We really have not had to supplement with formula at all. We do have formula here just in case, but I am pumping about 9 to 10 ounces per feed, and they're taking about 4 ounces each. So I've had enough to feed them and then store some extra as well. Honestly, I don't know that I'm gonna fully ever go to exclusively breastfeeding. At least right now, it's really nice that I can pump and then Jake can feed one of them and I can feed one of them. And I think it'll get a lot easier when they get older. But as of right now, while pumping and feeding, it's very time consuming, and I hate pumping and washing all the bottles. It's working really well for us right now, and we're just not at a point where I could go exclusive breastfeeding with both of them. Anyway, the whole pumping and feeding thing is going really well for us. I know everyone's going to have opinions. We are working with lactation consultants and our pediatrician, and this is what's working for us right now. We'll see what the future holds. I am just kind of taking it day by day. Right now, they are both fed. They're both happy. So that's kind of where we're at, but I'm very glad that we found a routine that works for all of us.